Children spend a large part of their day in schools, and even though the school is important, they go home to a family, and so family engagement is essential.
We're talking about children. Children don't take care of children. There are adults that are responsible for those children and their livelihood. So school and education is a critical piece. We have them the majority of the day. Our system and society is set up that these children are in our possession within the school district almost more than they have awake hours with their parents.
We want our families to be able to support what's going on in the school, but if they don't know, what a child is learning, if the school's not communicating with the family, it's really hard for that family to become engaged. Kansas City is a very unique city in some ways, but ununique in some ways to other large urban communities. We have nearly 50% of our children are enrolled in charter schools, and then our public school system at one point was a part of a court-ordered desegregation case, and there's many seeds of the failure in that realm that just continue.
Kansas City, just as amazing and rich a city as it is, it's also unfortunate, some of the history as far as how the city was built, and so there's a lot of inequities, there's a lot of, there's redlining that happened in the past that has caused this very segregated existence.
So over the course of the last 20, 30 years, as the result of failed desegregation attempts, significant charterization, the district losing accreditation, regaining accreditation, just this enormous disinvestment and frustration from the community.
People don't think about how different public education is today than it was 10 years ago, 20 years ago, and how in some ways we've gone backwards instead of forward. But I think part of that is because we left families behind. As our economy and as our nation continued to evolve, we forgot that it's more than just what the school does. It does take families supporting children outside of school in order to be able to have the outcomes we want to see for kids.
And one of the things we kept hearing over and over again was that there needed to be stronger relationships between families and schools. That there was a enormous disinvestment in the school system by our local communities, just given all the legacy of challenges and frustration with the quality of the schools that were being provided.
And what we learned was there is an awful lot going on in our schools. Many very well-intentioned things that are going on, but there wasn't a deep and meaningful connection between all these activities and academic achievement.
The neat part about the landscape assessment also is that it forced us to then try to frame up the problem. So we had to come back and agree on what our problem statement was. And to have our group team the way they are, where there's district, there's charter, there's early learning, there's a funder at the table. So the landscape analysis really, really, really helped us to stop and hear the same thing, and then talk about what we heard, and then spend the time to say, okay, out of all of this, where do we narrow and focus our attention on?
Our strategic plan is ever evolving, and we are implementing a pilot, and as we all know with design thinking, pilots should be adapted, and you should learn and reiterate and rethink what you're doing.
We all know how important an education is to the long-term success both of the individual, the family, and our society overall.
So what we learned was it wasn't one solution that we needed. We needed to bring almost like the fellowship to Kansas City to help building leaders do their own landscape analysis and assessment for their building level in order to say, here's where we are, here's what we need, so that they can help, we can partner with them and serve as thought partners and help them take them through this same process.
In the words of one of the founder of my organization, he said it's like a little ripple in a pool that turns into big waves in the pool, and that's what we want to see. We want to see a wave where people want to ride the wave because they say, wow, what are they doing over there? They're just doing great things. So at our local schools, throughout our city, and then ultimately for other cities that want to see that same change.